full disclosure, I'm a little loopy. I'm sick, and I figured out why. Not gonna say it, but I've called in. I'm not coming into work tomorrow, and I've got Tuesday off, so I'm gonna rest, get better. Interested in bows all the time, just not able to go out and work on them. I had a comment from one of my loyal viewers. Thank you for asking. Unfortunately, I don't have experience with the first one. The first question was, he has a longbow, and when he's shooting his arrow, it dips down. My first impulse was maybe check your nocking point. The second one was there might be something more involved going on, because he wondered if he should thin the top limb a little bit. If it's a symmetrical bow, find the center of the handle and then measure either side, and if it's the same, right and left, it's symmetrical, which I make symmetrical bows. Very rarely asymmetrical bows. If it's a symmetrical bow, put it in a tillering stick, set it on the ground. If you've got like a grid work with like tiles, or like I would use a bench in the past, 3/4 by 6-inch wide boards, so I could judge how much deflection each tip has, and if it's even, it's good. If it didn't have a setback handle, I just set it on the ground, tillering stick, and then just measure both tips, and if they were even distance from the bench up to the tip, I was good. Never had a problem with that. Never had a problem with that. If it's an asymmetrical bow, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, your first step, if it's a symmetrical bow, is make sure the deflection on each tip is the same, and then you shouldn't have an issue. An impulse, it was like, well, maybe just your nocking point. But then it's like with an asymmetrical bow, maybe there's something else at work here. I don't know. Again, this is just guesswork. That you've got the string, and it's pushing down on the arrow at a single point. And that point just moves, straight. It doesn't seem like the string would like move to the side and make the arrow go. But maybe it would with an asymmetrical bow. Maybe. But I would adjust my nocking point. I don't know. It's a mystery. I'm a little loopy again. My mind isn't working too great. So please add to this conversation. The second question was about hand shock. He wondered about lightening the tips. Yes, that would be a good thing. When I make a longer bow, not a little short one, I always have a non-bending handle. In fact, I try to have a non-bending handle as much as possible, except with a little D-bow. One reason is if you get a little string follow in the center, it's going to amplify. As you go out towards the tips, the little string follow doesn't add up to as much, but dead center it does, and so I don't like to have much bend in the handles. Second thing is when I have a longer bow and I've got to bend through the handle, it's going to be hand shocky. I've made my paddle bows bend through the handle, and they're horrible to shoot. That's why I always like a non-bending handle. Tip weight matters. The less mass you have here, the less shock you're going to have. So maybe lighten your tips a little bit. Maybe get a heavier arrow. So there's some choices there, but your first step, especially if you're a new person to bow making, is you might be making your tips a little too heavy. It's incredible how you can have the heaviest bow ever, and it's like almost no wood on the tips will support it just because of leverage. So maybe work down your tips carefully and always check the tillers so you're not getting too much bend out there. But yeah, try to reduce your weight at the tips. Increase your arrow mass. That's about it. I always have a tendency to talk too much. I actually went back and saw one of my talisman. I sinew bagged. It's a beautiful one. Look at John Riggs' sinew bagged talisman. It's an awesome bow. But I spent like half of the video yammering on about this raw fruit and vegetable diet. Even I wanted to tell me to shut up. So I need to watch that. Have a good one. Thank you for watching, and definitely contribute to this conversation.